This meeting
Awesome. Solar Icons family, happy Monday. It is our famous, world famous now, fireside chat. Appreciate all of you hopping on after a long Thanksgiving weekend. I know we're all anxious to get back into the grind of it and start building our empire. So I'm excited to have everybody here. As we always do, we like to start these calls off with some shout outs, some team recognition. So if anybody wants to go, I know Marissa's going to have the honor of kicking us off today. Marissa, I'll turn it over to you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, everybody. So I'm going to shout out Miss Lindsay. She just completed her Tier 1 certification. So shout out to her. Miss Crystal Marrero just had her first installation. So super excited for that. Miss Margarita Gonzalez just got an ambassador and my whole team is on. I mean, how much better than that does it get?
You know what? I'm going to recognize you because that's leadership. I know there's a lot of leaders on this call who wish their entire teams were on these calls. So first and foremost, that goes back to you, my friend. Well done.
No, we be little, we be fierce.
Hey, you got to start somewhere. That's what it's all about. It's about having teammates around the campfire, guys. Right? I mean, I remember after the last fireside chat right before Thanksgiving, Chris hit me up right after the call and said that was straight fire. Like we both wish we had more teammates on. So that's awesome leadership. Well done. I'll give Jem a shout out. He got his solar system installed on his house, which is huge. You can see from his background, it's actually his personal residence with the panels installed. By the way, anybody who gets an install, they do start cheesing just like that. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. All of a sudden, these panels have a life of their own. So congratulations to you, sir. Who else we got for a shout out? I know our good friend Jem probably has an army of people to welcome. He's a recruiting machine. If any new people are on, you want to recognize them, by all means, go ahead.
Oh man! First of all, I'd love to give some gratitude. You know, it's Thanksgiving, so it's a season for that. To Terry Thomas, to Chris Hart, and yourself, Aaron. You guys have been tremendous resources for me, learning and growing, and allowing me to tap into your guys' knowledge and duplicate that and share that with my team. I know we've got Francisco, Scott Marlowe. Brian Whipple's here in my living room. We just brought on Amy. So I'm really excited to be able to give the stuff you guys give me because I take notes and pay attention to what you say, and then I deploy it with urgency. So I appreciate you giving us this opportunity. This is such a great platform for all of us to sharpen our tools and our skill sets. And, everyone on this call, I'm grateful for the contributions. The collective genius of this group is mind-blowing to me, and it's only getting better and better every day. So this is a big source of my recruiting, is giving them the value of the team synergy that you guys are on the head leading for us. So I'm grateful for you all. Thank you.
Aaron, can I step in for a second? Jim, can you say that one more time?
Yeah.
You do this, and this. Say that again.
Well, I plug into all your trainings. I take notes, and then I implement it with urgency. And then I share that with my team to teach them to do the same.
He 100% does. I will tell you, every three-way recruiting Zoom I've been on with him, he's like the student writing down everything. He really does. I can honestly say that. And that's why his team's grown so fast. So kudos to you, Jim, and welcome to all the new players underneath you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Chris, I'll say it yet again. When I finally grow up, I want to learn to speak as well as him and Maureen combined. If I can take both of them and learn to talk like that, oh my gosh, it'd be game over. Maureen, I see your hand up.
Yeah, Wayne. Hi, Wayne. He did Tier 1 completion. Yes.
Awesome.
He's really excited to do a private Zoom launch of directors together and just really get going. So I'm excited for him.
Awesome. Congrats, Wayne. Mitch Mallett.
You know, Aaron, you're a great speaker, so don't belittle yourself. And I got an electric bill this morning, Aaron, and it's somebody that we both know.
Congrats, man.
You'll be surprised. So we have to talk about this deal.
We definitely will. I love surprises, brother. Congrats, man. Congrats. Appreciate you being here. Chris Hart.
I want to give a shout out to Terry Thomas, man. Man, I see Jim hitting these text messages like 6 out of 150, 7 out of 150, 8 out of 150. And I'm like, I don't have any of these calls on my schedule. I'm like, what the hell? And then I ask, and he's like, oh no, Terry's got it, man. I'm like, sweet. So great job to you. Kudos to you, brother. Way to step up in that leadership role and provide your team members some leverage. So real proud of you on that, brother.
I love that. You know, Chris, something else we don't talk about publicly enough is working with people like Jim, who come obviously from contribution. You can tell that in his language, the word choice that he uses, but always coming, from a grateful heart. As a leader, you're willing to bend over backwards. Like, you're going to move things around. There's something magical when you know that like your time and effort are received in such a high level like that. And I just love that about him. Like, truly, the phone text, I'm like, honey, take the kids, go do this. We all want to lean in and help him, man. So it's been a lot of fun. You bring a lot of value to this team, my friend. Awesome. We got time for a couple more. Who else we got? Who else can we recognize? Ray, good to see you, by the way, brother. Anybody else got a quick shout out? All right, cool. Let me grab my screen.
Wait, I'll give one more quick shout out real quick. Scott Marlowe, he's a baller real estate agent out here in the Scottsdale market. He's a tremendous leader. He's great at cold calling, for sale by owners. He sees the opportunity here. He jumped on within 12 hours. He was already tier 1 certified. He's taking this opportunity to the hill. He told me, he said, Jim, I had a vision. I'm going to have a 25,000 person organization. So I know you're recording this. I just want to put that on the record. Mr. Marlowe's on this call tonight. I'm saluting you, sir. Let's do it. I'm here to help you.
Love that, man. But by the way, team, do me a favor. I'm going to put Chris Hart and Jim on blast right now, completely unrehearsed. They can yell at me later, but it's for the greater good of Solar Icons. I would like both of them on one of the future calls, even next Monday, if they could, do a segment on goal setting. Because it's true, guys. We get a text from Jim. He is marking down his march to 150 personal recruits. He knows down to the number where it is. He knows what month he's going to hit this. There's something powerful about that. And obviously that's a classic. Chris has taught on the Keller Williams scene for a decade. That's how I first met him. So if you see any value in a goal setting training from two major players on that, throw it in the chat. Let's blow them up with guilt so they can't say no to us. And we'll run it from there. Okay, cool. The national leaderboard for Solar Icons here. Our fearless leader, Mr. Chris Hart, is leading the ranks on the personal sales. So this is non-mentor. This is him leading from the front. He has 2 under contract. I know he'll have quite a few more as we wrap up over the next week. We got Patrick Adu, as always. We got Christian. We got Jody. And we got Christopher on that list as well. So congrats to you, or all of you, excuse me. In terms of referrals, we are missing one. Jim, for whatever reason, I think he broke the system. His name is not on there. I don't know the exact number. I know he does have 8 personal recruits. I don't know how many this month. Maybe he does, and he can come off mute, but I will get that fixed. How many?
6 this month, and 2 more coming on tonight.
Awesome. So he's at 6 this month. Congrats to you, by the way. And I will have that glitch fixed. I want you to know that we did not forget about you. I can't control it on that end, but I will get it fixed. So he's currently sitting at 6. So obviously he would dethrone me from the second place. So I shouldn't have asked him his number. Lesson learned. I will keep that private next time. When he signs up those other 2, he'll be neck and neck with Patrick Adu. So that's going to be a good battle going forward. They'll be in 2nd and 3rd place, respectively. We got Joe on there. We got Bobness again. I love it. My girl, Lisa Bailey. We got Katie, who I see on here. Ariana's making a big push. Had a great convo with her. And one of our newest team members, Stacy, is on that list as well. Please note, I believe the first is on Friday. If somebody could confirm that. I want to make sure people don't give up on this, guys. There are major pushes on these lists every single month as we close out. So make sure you're closing out strong. Super excited to announce the Puerto Rico launch. Finally, this thing has been teased for 2 months. Obviously, with the devastation and hurricane that they had there, and just some glitches that we had to get through, we are officially launching a brand new market on December 5th. Right? This is huge. I don't have anyone in that location yet, but this is going to be an area that I'm going to spend some time. And the reason I want to focus on this for a quick second, and obviously we'll take a deep dive on it as we open up when we wrap up. You have the chance to own a market. Anytime we're launching, if someone ends up getting over there, they end up getting a leader who takes off. You end up getting a Gem, a Maureen, a Patrick Adu, to name a few, right? That really want to run with this thing there. You have the potential to override the entire location. Like game changing. Now, if you don't have a lot of people there, obviously you can focus on Facebook. Who do I know in this area? Obviously LinkedIn, and we talk about that a lot, but this is a huge opportunity for all of us on this call. We have tonight's recruiting call that we do every Monday. If I could get a Spanish leader to read this, because I would butcher it and not do it justice. Marissa, you want to help me out on this one if you don't mind?
No, not at all. So this says a special edition for the market of Puerto Rico. Learning how, hold on, because I gotta read it in Spanish first and then it comes in English. So aprendiendo cómo puedes conducir. So learning how to build your business in the solar industry, and then it's got the date, it's got the time, and it's got who your speakers are.
Awesome. You guys can see the cast over here. I mean, William is just an absolute stud in the game. Obviously, everyone else there is as well. That is tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. This is going to be Spanish facing. They are going to have subtitles. My humble opinion, I don't think this is if someone doesn't understand Spanish, I don't think this is the right event for them. It's very hard to get that energy and everything else through subtitles. Having said that, if you know you have people in Puerto Rico and you can't wait and they need to see it, by all means do it. But just don't be shocked. This is going to be Spanish speaking. That's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific tonight. And this is all going to be hyping up the launch coming on December 5th, which is going to be huge. So please make sure that is on your radars as well. We have for any new team members, Jim, you better have this saved as a favorite with how many new people you add every day. But it has our schedule on there from the book club that Mr. Hart leads, the fireside chat that we're on now, our breakthrough mastermind every Wednesday that corporate leads, and then our script and role play on Friday. I kind of laid into a few people on the team last Monday. I want to make sure people are plugging in on this, especially the Friday. All of them are important. But if you're not having the wins that you see everyone else on the team having, whether it's recruiting, whether it's collecting utility bills, popping tier 2 or tier 3, heck, even duplicating those wins, right? This is the call for you. This is where Chris shares the value adds. He actually has, I'm going to go ahead and scare people. He has people come off mute. Yes, you know that big button, the red one, you can push it where you can actually hear your voice. You come off mute, you have a conversation. You'll role play together. We'll give feedback. It's not always beating each other up. It's positives. Hey, you crushed this. But it is an amazing call. If you're not time blocking that, you are missing it. You are missing it, my friends. So please. Obviously, Chris paid me to sit. No, I'm just kidding. It really is that good, guys. It is an absolute fire call. What I want to wrap up with before we open it up to the fireside chat is I want to have some team members, some leaders on this call sharing some wins they had over the long Thanksgiving holiday. When they were out, piquing people's interest, taking the nuggets that Chris shares on Fridays, when they were out collecting utility bills, getting someone to watch an opportunity video or hopping on a Monday night call. Do we have anybody that could come off mute and share a win? I know, Michael, if you're still here, I'd love for you to kick us off. Russell, I'll come to you next if that's okay.
Did you think I disappeared?
You never know, Michael.
So my wife was sick, so the family thing was a little down because of that over the weekend. But on Saturday, I was with a bunch of friends. They have like a get together for the uncle does like a karaoke deal. Anyway, 2 people were there that know that I do solar, and I'm not that I was shy about it, but someone said, "Hey, how's it going with your solar thing?" And it was in front of some other people. So while I normally wouldn't have brought it up as a business thing, I took the time to tell them how it was going, and things were going great. Signing up some people, what I'm seeing around town. It was just more like planting some seeds. I wasn't handing out cards, but it was more like just letting people know that's what I do. And we all have the mutual friend as the host and hostess. So I guess they have a question, they'll go back to her or him and say, "Hey, give me that guy's name and number."
Love it, man. Love it. And, that's really the point of having other people share. I mean, one is we want to hear other voices, right? There's so many people on the team winning, but to show that most of the success, most of the wins are just having your door open, just having a conversation. It's a contact sport. Chris says it all the time. If people don't know you're in the solar game, they can't bless you. They can't help you. So I love that, Michael. Appreciate you sharing. Russell, you're up next, bud.
Yeah, man. So this weekend, I had a bunch of 2 different Thanksgiving things I did. One of them I was able to pretty much advertise to my family, "Hey, listen, I'm in solar. I'm loving it. It's exciting." I got 2 peaked interest for prospects, and then I got 2 peaked interest for ambassadors. Another big win I had was the second day I decided to do something at my house. I ended up getting she's like a family friend / sister. She signed up on her own without even talking on a 3-way Zoom. So she's already in the game on the team. And then another win I got was I got this guy named Ryan. He's a fireball, and I think you spoke with him. Chris and I have been kind of working with him, but right now he's really set on this high level. He wants to dive into Powur Enterprise, and he wants to run it from a high platform right out the gate. So I got him to a point where he said, "Listen, bro, I'm committing the first week of December bare minimum," and he's ready to run the game. So we're going to talk again Wednesday, and I'll let you guys know how it goes after that.
I love it. So next Monday, you'll be welcome on this call. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the universe, my friend.
Got to bring him in. He's in.
Love it, man. Congrats. Debbie, are you here by chance? Debbie, are you here? Okay, we'll come back to her. I know she had two impactful stories. I want to make sure everybody can hear. In fact, Chris, if you could send a quick text, I'd confirm that. Maureen, are you able to come off mute?
Yes.
By the way, where have you been lately, Maureen? Watch this, guys. You're all about to get jelly.
I'm still in Cabo. I'm supposed to go home last night and my flight was delayed. So God had other plans. So I'm here for 3 more days, which is why I'm still committed, working, doing a Zoom in my hotel bedroom with, sitting on the floor. So no excuses. And yeah, so one of the friends that I'm here with, I mean, they own several properties. And the interesting thing is, not only are they going to be huge supporters of my business and networking, but they actually own an electric vehicle company and they're partner companies, but those solar companies don't operate in the state that they're in. So I'm actually in conversations right now to see if I can send people Kansas, whatever, but they're home in Florida. So I'm getting their bill. And while we're here, I'm going to go over, it's a 19,000 square foot home in Fort Lauderdale. So it'd be a cash deal and stuff, but it's just having the conversations, I think, with everyone. And what I feel like really has been working for me too, is just letting everyone know what it is I'm up to now and always having the conversation and just asking how they want to support, just think of me if you know of anyone, talking to people by the pool. And so, yeah, there's a lot. And I've done Facebook Lives. Maybe you guys have seen it. Chris has taught us so many incredible things in the, value propositions of going solar and, just starting to do education on that. People have been reaching out on Facebook. Hey, actually, can you give me another quote? I've had a solar already. Are you really doing this? Can you serve me in this state? So it's starting to really work and take off. And so I'm excited about that.
Yeah. I love that. Love that. Love your energy. Something else too, to kind of piggyback, I think Russell said it about letting people know you're excited. And I know you do that very, very well, Maureen, but that's super important. If you're not excited about this opportunity, why would someone else, right? And also painting the picture of how big this opportunity is. I know you guys have heard me on Chris's call where I dropped my voice text. I'm letting them know that I just opened a solar division. We're already in 26 states. We're launching in Puerto Rico because I want them to know this is bigger than the local network that they're thinking that my real estate business lives in. Right. That's the only way you're going to get referrals outside of your own state. Letting people know how big this opportunity is it's a necessity. Cool. Stacy, are you around by chance?
Yes, I am here.
Awesome, Stacy.
Just a little scruffy voice, but get past that. It'll be around for a little while, I guess. I was at an event and met a realtor that I had not met before, and I'm in Arizona, and our utility companies one of them is not the same as you typically find with solar. So I was just giving her a little bit of education that, she has a team and you'd want to make them aware that this one is not your typical, and, here are some tips on that. And so she said, you know what, would you come talk to my team? That would be really great if you could share some of this education, because as we all know, solar and real estate goes hand in hand. So I thought that was a great opportunity to get in front of more, educate more, and kind of show them how they can build both. They really do go hand in hand well together. And she got that just a few minutes from talking with her.
Love that. Love that. You don't get those opportunities if people don't know what you're doing. That's for sure. Anybody else want to share a win from a conversation? Maybe you collected a utility bill, you piqued someone's interest, and anything else from the long weekend that someone can share?
Hey, Aaron. I was actually, I have a new seller.
Congrats.
Yes. I've been texting with her. She's doing everything, coming on board. Through the conversations that I had over the weekend, it's basically following up with them, just, being real, and hope they have a great Thanksgiving, happy holidays, and just kind of get the conversation going with them. So that's how I was able to attract her.
Love it. Absolutely love it. On the recruiting convo, and like I said, you guys take it wherever you want once we open it up. We haven't talked about this lately, but it's important, especially for people who are money driven, which is a lot of people sharing wins. Whether it's our Facebook group, it's our messenger app of people posting some of the commission checks. I can't tell you how many recruits I've had by sharing someone else's win financially, where people just get super excited. Chris and Maureen, if you could help me with that. Katie, I see your hand up. I'll come over to you next.
Hi, sorry about that. Yes, I actually talked to 2 people last week in Texas that are hopefully going to, I actually expected to have him signed up yesterday, but he's going to come on as a seller. And then I'm talking to 2 new people I just talked to on Saturday while I was at the bank.
Love it. Love it. That's what it's all about, my friends. You guys are seeing it over and over. Success leaves clues. Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to our traditional fireside chat where we can mastermind. Obviously, there's some ballers on this call. One other thing maybe this will lead us into some conversation I want to share is just about managing expectations, right? Chris and I always say on our proposals that anytime you're dealing with solar, you are dealing with construction. And when you're in the construction space, things can go wrong, right? Bobby Smith, the field president, says it all the time. I had a client, I'm looking at his house right now, who now has solar on it. Thank God. It was almost 5 months from the day it was signed to us getting it. I know we don't talk about some of the nuances and ups and downs. We want to keep everything positive, but we kept checking in. I say we, my wife obviously helps a lot. Just kept checking in. Hey, we're still waiting for permits. I just checked on it. We did it every week. Started to get a little slower every 10 to 14 days. We just kept after it. I could tell he was getting frustrated. He really wanted this installed for the tax break. Long story short, we got it installed on Tuesday of last week. 4.5 months, ups and downs, really frustrated. He's already sent over 4 referrals. He sent over 4 referrals, guys. Like, he is so beyond excited, taking photos, everything else. People just want to know you care. They just want to know you're moving that ball down the field. And so that's okay, right? It's when you're not checking in or God forbid, you're planning the expectation that we're going to have this installed in 2 weeks, right? You're not, it's just, we want to make sure, like I said, we're managing expectations. I wish this thing would have been installed 3 months prior. I can only imagine, but because we kept doing what we were doing, checking in, knowing that we cared, he's still sending over business every single day, which is, I think, what all of us want. So just like, I wanted to share that with you. Like I said, I wish it would have been a little bit better, but we got through it. He's blessed. Obviously, we're blessed. He's sending over referrals and all that fun stuff. But we'll open it up to you guys. Take it to where you want to go. What do you need help with? Let's use the mastermind of all the smart people we have on this call.
I'm going to bring up something.
Go for it.
I'll bring up something first. So something came up in a conversation with Chris earlier today, and it just stimulated that, reminded me what you said about expectations, and that's our own expectations as well. Reminding us how long we've been in the business, and some people are celebrating wins on getting certified or how much money they've got, and just realizing that we're still taking, some of us anyway, are still taking baby steps, and just remembering that's part of the goal moving forward and learning and being on these calls.
Well said, man. For 99% of the people on this Zoom call right now, solar is brand new to us. Like, let's be very, very transparent on that. Like, brand new. We have people on this team winning, and I'm going to use real estate because that's my background, that I've never seen duplicate in the real estate world, yet they're winning much, much faster here. But we also have to give ourselves grace. Like, really, really important. We are figuring this thing out as a family. We are failing forward. Those of you that are not in your winning season, I call it seasons because they come and go. They do. Just make sure you're constantly plugged in, right? That you're on these calls, that you're pivoting, that you're asking a question. What did I miss? What could I have said as a response? That you're doing all of that, and your win is going to come. I'll personally guarantee it. This opportunity is just too big. So, Michael, I applaud you for bringing that up because I think it is important. What else we got?
Well, we talk about we're opening up in Puerto Rico, so hoping to learn a lot more. I've already had someone ask me how's Powur's relationship with Luma, and I guess Luma is the power provider in Puerto Rico. So I'm already starting to have some conversations.
Love it. If that is the only provider, we wouldn't be there if they weren't playing nice. Just so you know. I don't know the specifics yet. They've really kept that closed. Once they officially launch, I would imagine it will be in knowledge base as well. Please keep in mind, though, when we open new areas, new territories, I'm saying this from firsthand experience when I helped launch EXP, it's a mess in the beginning. It's a mess, right? Maryland and Virginia are 2 of our newer states. Like, we're failing forward. We're figuring it out. We're getting our teams lined up. So just know that going into it. But those that embrace the chaos in the beginning are the ones that are putting themselves in a position of wealth. True
Aaron,
story.
I want to say, I don't know the details of Puerto Rico, but I know the Puerto Rican government is very pro solar.
Awesome.
And they really need to be.
Love it. Russell, I see your hand up, sir.
Yeah, so I got this guy that's highly interested in Greece. I know that that's not necessarily a territory we've been talking about, but he said they got 300 days a year of sunny sunlight, blah blah blah, all this other good stuff. But he's actually a business owner of an apartment complex and hotel investment company. So I was just thinking, I mean, what is the likelihood I could sign up a foreign individual if they could possibly get into a market like Greece? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't want, once again, managing expectations. I've signed a lot of people up in areas where I'm hopeful we will be. We don't know the time frame other than what's right in front of us right now, right? The key areas that they're teasing. Like I know New York, I believe is up next. That's something I've heard them talk about in leadership combos. But yeah, so one thing I always tell people, let me go back to this question. They need to have a way for us to pay them. So they need to have a US bank account. I wish I wasn't recording this, but it is what it is. There are workarounds for everything. So maybe a person could, off the record, set up an LLC, set up an S corp, and we could figure out payment that way. I'm very creative. I want to get smart people in this business as quickly as humanly possible, as Jim said, with urgency, right? So we can figure out the nuances of that. I'm sure Jim and I could help you with that combo as well. Regarding opening areas we're not in yet, I'm big about this, and I don't let that block me at all. The way our company is running, we're looking for leaders in new territories, new states, potentially new countries to open. They're not going to open it until we have leaders there. Right. So I think a lot of people are waiting for us to open. So all of a sudden they can raise their hand it doesn't work that way. Like it doesn't work that way. We're looking for expansion partners. So I tell people all the time, like I'm hopeful. We have a huge team in Alabama. Come in now, start figuring all this out, start building your organization, your board of directors, become tier three, so that the minute we flip that switch, you already have an organization behind you. And so when you start talking with that, you start really vision casting. That's how you start to get someone to see that this is much bigger than their local area. Does that make sense, man?
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's actually solid. Thank you.
Yeah, actually. No worries, man. Mitch, I see your hand up. I was going to make a joke, but it's all good. I surprise myself at times too, man. Mitch, go for it.
So this is a fireside chat, and I'm a very positive guy, but I need some help overcoming some issues. And I've talked to Aaron about it and just saying, well, Walmart and all these other companies, all have negative reviews, but I'm getting beaten up on negative reviews. And I look at it and we have like a 4 whatever rating, but there's some brutal negative reviews out there.
Yep. Chris Hart, you want to answer that quickly?
Yeah, I want to take this one. I'm going to run with this one. All right. What are the reviews saying?
They talk about nightmare stories of, not being able to get a hold of the salesperson, which I think I've overcome that. But it's failure of the install date being pushed way back, and just most of the installation.
So I'm going to handle this from a scripting objection handler type thing. So you guys are welcome to take notes on what I say about it. So Mitch, I'm going to act as though you are the homeowner that I'm trying to sell to that has looked on the Better Business Bureau and found some things that that concern you. Okay. So Mitch, as I showed you in our slide deck, when we talked about why solar, why power, why solar, why now, and why so many people are trusting our company to adopt solar on their homes. One of the things, do you remember I showed you that since 2020, we hit the Inc. 5000's fastest growing private company list. We were 938 in 2020, 63 or 61 in 2021, and 43 this past year.
I do remember that.
You do remember that? Yeah. So, the cool part is we've experienced massive growth. And Mitch, I believe the reason why is because our model allows us to go into marketplaces where we can offer homeowners the best equipment at the best prices, with the best installation crew backed by the best 30-year bumper to bumper warranty. And so what happens is when your competition can't beat you, what do? They join you, right? And so we've experienced exponential growth that's also come with exponential growth in sales. And Mitch, I'm sure you've noticed the labor shortage all across the country, right? It's in our restaurants, it's in our stores, like things are taking longer, the service is not as great. Well, we've experienced that same thing. We outgrew our ability to service from the period of time where our company was. And quite frankly, that's not a bad thing. Reason being, Mitch, is because most of our competition is going out of business. It has nothing to do with their ability to service, it has everything to do with their ability to sell, right? They went insolvent. So when you look at our company from a strong financial position of solvency, massive growth, adopting sales across 26 states, our biggest challenge was the servicing of it. Now, I could see where you're coming from with that being a concern, but Mitch, would you agree that we shouldn't evaluate people on their shortcomings? We should evaluate them on how they respond to their shortcomings?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, that's the thing. Our company went on, I mean, they literally hired a company to go on a massive hiring freeze for us, and they've done that. And right now where we're at is quite possibly, I think we're kind of overstaffed, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And we're getting those people trained up. And I'm very confident that what we're able to sell out in the field today, we can confidently service in the coming months.
Well, that sounds great.
Great. Let's move forward and take a look at the documents. Okay. So what'd you guys hear in that?
Our confidence, our resolve, and nothing is without challenge. And when you run it down the Inc. 5000, we're growing at a fast rate. And for people that maybe speak EXP went through the same thing, the growing pains. So it's just growing pains. And you can look up Apple, Mercedes-Benz, or whatever, and you can find bad reviews about those products. It's out there if you want to look for it.
One of the
What
things
I heard, Chris, what I heard from you, Chris, is that you put this right into the presentation a lot more aggressively than I do. And that's a good thing for me to hear, because if I did what you did, I'm still having a problem. And basically you put it out there to try to inoculate the customer to the bad reviews when they find them. Now, was that internal? Did you just speak that off the top of your head, or have you scripted that out?
No,
every Friday.
Can you share that with me?
Every Friday, guys. Shameless plug. Like this is organic. This is what he does every single Friday. And so we have a team of over 200. Like you got to be on these calls. This is what we cover.
When we talk about scripts, guys, right? Mastery happens in repetition, right? Repetition's the mother of all mastery. When it flows off my tongue like that, it's not because it just came from like, my butt or my heart. It came from, this is a script. Why? Because like you, I've been presented with that. And the way I work it is, if I'm presented it once, I'm most likely going to be presented it twice. And therefore, if it happens once, it's most likely going to happen twice. I need to be prepared for it. And so that gets scripted in. Like I could literally say it again, probably 95% with the same accuracy. The only thing I forgot to add in there was, hey, Mitch, one of the great things about our model is those of us that work for the company, we have the opportunity to buy into or earn ownership in this company. I'm actually an owner in this company. Okay. And so being an owner in this company, one of the things I'm proud about is our growth and the fact that our competition's going out of business and we're posturing in the marketplace as a very strong financial company that is exceeding our sales expectations. And if our biggest challenge is servicing it to where, we didn't meet that expectation, I get that I'm not happy about that as an owner, but what I am happy about is that we are far exceeding the expectations of the marketplace. And guess what we're doing right now? We're catching up. So we're going to be a force in the marketplace right now to where our model works for the homeowner and we're going to be able to service them at a really high level. We're going to be an unstoppable company.
I love that. You know, Mitch, I want to give you a shout out too, because I think this was lost on most people. His aha after Chris went through that rebuttal is gold, my friends. He took ownership. Okay, I found out my blind spot. I'm not bringing this up ahead of time. This is huge, right? I learned this from almost said Chris Hart. I've learned a lot from Chris. This was not a Chris one. It was Grant Cardone, where he talks about if you get the same objection over and over, it's something we're putting into the universe or lack thereof. He's 100% right. Like I can tell you, I don't get that objection. I know Chris doesn't either because we built that in. And so I love that Mitch picked that up because I think that was lost on a lot of people. So please make sure you're aware of that. If you see something and it's starting to show a pattern, it's repeating, we got to figure out how to beat the objection before it becomes an objection, right? I joke all the time in scripting and role play, an objection only gets life when it gets oxygen. If I can beat it up before it gets oxygen, it's gone, my friends. It's gone. And really, there's only 3 or 4 objections we ever get anyway. Anyway, that's the cool part that we do every Friday. Maureen, sorry to have you waiting so long.
But can I just ask Chris, where can I find that script?
Friday.
I don't want to wait till Friday. I got a call back this afternoon.
I just gave it to you.
I'll share the recording in about an hour.
I don't have it documented is the answer. I'm sorry, Mitch.
Okay.
Sorry
I'll share the recording in about an hour once I get it back from Zoom. Maureen, go for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's so great, Chris. I think what's worked for me, if it's not in a presentation context, because I have gotten a lot of, either sellers interested and then they do research and kind of come back and find certain things. So how I've always been able to nip this in the bud very quickly is by just giving a common sense analogy, just talking about how many overwhelmingly positive reviews there are, but just how many apps, like the absence of reviews relative to installations. And then I say, and I'm a part of it. I can relate because I'm guilty. Do you know how many places I go that are my favorite restaurant, favorite movie, favorite hair, favorite whatever? I never write a review. The only time I write a review is if I'm pissed off. So it's statistically insignificant. One. And I said the second thing too, is if I went on Yelp and I read a really bad review for my favorite restaurant, I'm sure that person had an experience that they had. Maybe there was a hair in their food, but I've been there 80 times and I've never had anything but the best experience. Shit's going to happen. So I'm not saying that was not an experience. That bad review you read on Better Business Bureau, of course it happened. Of course, it's humans, it's construction or whatever, but it's not consistent with the overall experience. And part of what we do is we're committed to, resolving it, making it better. So I say, you know what, if that was the overall review for that restaurant, my favorite restaurant, it wouldn't have a, wait out the door Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. I wouldn't continue to go back, so I help them say like, yes, it's not. I think we can get into trouble when we defend it and try to minimize it versus saying, yeah, that was 100% a valid experience review. And here's the whole truth. Let's put it into perspective in a way that makes sense to them. And then they're like, oh, okay. Like I've never lost anyone because of that after that analogy. So
that was a mic drop, my friend. Mic drop. Chris, I'm sorry you have to follow that. Good luck.
I was almost like, put your hand down.
Yeah. No, I saw it, Chris. You got to go ahead and talk now.
Clapping. I'm like, shit, turn that into a raised hand. No, dude, you're so right, man. I want to be like Maureen when I grow up. So for some of you guys that are new, that we have the Powur Care 30-year bumper to bumper warranty, right? And that used to be a warranty that we sold, like my solar systems, with Solar Insure, right? So that's the company that we had the 30-year bumper to bumper warranty with. And the company made a executive decision to move away from that company and move that same warranty that's cheaper and actually better for our homeowners in-house, which nobody else does. And a big reason for that was because, excuse me, Solar Insure does not share the same customer service as our company does. And that has shown up in some of our reviews. Okay. So understand some of those reviews as far as post installation servicing happened because of a third party company. Now we're not going to play the victim, but there is an opportunity to show like, this is where we were at. We saw a fault. Our executive leadership made a command decision. We took what we thought was very good for the homeowner, but wasn't the best, and we made it the best by bringing it in-house. And so you can rest assured that let's not judge people on, you know, their shortcomings. Let's judge them how they handle their shortcomings. And that's what we've done as a company, is to ensure that what we're bringing to the market now is a better product, and that's based off of our customers' experiences. So it's really all how we handle things. So food for thought on that as well.
Really solid, man. Here's another one. Write this down. Be the customer you want. Be the customer you want. This is another one. This is really the color of what Grant showed me that day in that book that I read. I kept getting in my real estate business. The objection on my listing appointments was, love you, Aaron. I'm talking about myself. I had to add that, right? Love you, Aaron. Everything you said makes sense, but I want to research. Right. And I realized from that book that was me. I was one of those. I was one of those research people. I had to watch every YouTube video, had to go to forums, had to do all this other stuff. All of a sudden it changed that day. I said, a decision right in front of me. What's the worst that happens? I'll fix it later. If it makes sense, I got a good feeling about it. The number's right. Let's just go do it. Because of that, now that's how I make decisions very, very quickly. My wife laughs. I've completely changed into a new person over the last decade. Now I'm attracting people like that. That's how we close on the spot, because I'm walking them right through. I talk differently. Does that make sense? I became the customer that I want to attract. Oh, I see a couple of heads. Hopefully people are getting that.
Yeah.
Russell, I saw your hand up for a quick second, then you dropped it. You can't chicken out. You got to go with it.
Yeah. So I was actually just gonna jump on something that Maureen was saying, because I think the biggest thing about it is you got to be relatable. Like period. If you're able to be relatable with any aspect of it, even if it's an analogy or just a personal experience or some kind of a statement, like she used the restaurant situation. That's the key to it all, is everything is relatable. Like you said, you want to be the customer that you want to be. So, I mean, you relate to them as you would hope somebody would relate to you to help you understand what you're trying to get past. So I was just saying, I appreciate that. It was solid.
Love that. You know, the other thing Maureen said right at the end, right before Chris jumped on, was it's not combative. I don't remember the exact word choice. We're not arguing. We're not defending. We're having a conversation. Like, it is very hard to object to that. Like, we're not here to overcome that objection just by going like this. Chris jokes all the time. No adult wants to be told what to do, ever. And so when you're doing that, oh, Maureen, no, that's just not true. No, like, why would you, like, you're never going to win that way. And I felt like her and Chris obviously demonstrated that at a really high level. It's a conversation about it, but they're also, when I say conversation, it's more of a leading conversation, if you will. And I know Chris has some ism he'll say, but they're having a dialogue, taking them where they want them to go. Like, they're not opening it back up, getting oxygen on that objection. They're handling it and moving on to the next, which is it's a what's the right word? It's magical when you see those two do that at a really high level. Cool. What else we got? Mitch, great segue, by the way. Appreciate that. Don't be shy. Come on, you got some amazing players on this call. Use the wisdom of the masses.
You know, while others are thinking, Aaron, I'll throw something out at you. I think it's just been really profound. You know that I've shared with you a challenge on a deal that I'm mentoring, actually somebody that's directly under you. And so I've shared kind of the challenges we've had on this deal. And the unfortunate part, it's his own personal deal. And Aaron has shared with me a mindset that I think really kind of broke a lot of things open for me that I think is good for all of us. You know, one of the value propositions is that we have 5 ways of earning income, right? And one of them we talk about is, you know, building wealth. You can do it through revenue share. You can do it through stock option ownership. And I want to make sure you guys really understand this piece with the stock option ownership. On your very first transaction, you're going to earn stock options in this company, okay? Which means you become a owner of the company. When you bring somebody on board, you're going to earn additional, or excuse me, when you bring somebody on board and they sell their first system, you're going to earn additional stock options, which further ingrains your ownership of this company, okay? When challenges show up, I challenge you guys to think from an owner's standpoint, not being pissed off at the company, right? Because when you're pissed off at the company for something, guess what? That's your company, right? You're an owner in this company. So think from a resolution standpoint. And the interesting part is this challenge, we thought at one point we were going to have to eat some money. And I didn't necessarily agree with it, but things are outlined in our documents that I just wasn't aware of, to be honest with you. So I own that piece. And, it got down to the point where I was like, well, you know what, man, it is what it is. And, if we really want this system, we just, we have to, suck this piece up. And we were both okay with doing that. And then the company came back this morning and said, hey, you guys don't have to pay that. We're going to make that go away. We talked to the installer. Everything's good at this point. So I think a lot of it has to do with energy, but also what we said earlier is we're in the construction business. We're going to come across issues. What I would challenge each of us, if and when you come across, I hope you don't, but there's good probability you will, think from an owner's standpoint. Okay, because this is such an amazing value proposition that, remember, what you believe is what you're going to share. And if you believe there's 5 very valuable sources of income and wealth to generate through this opportunity, and being an owner in one of these companies, like I'm super proud of that decision, man. Like I can't wait to speak on behalf of that. Like, hey, the company stepped up, and I don't know what decisions they made. I don't know if they're eating the money or whatever the case may be. They did the right thing. And that's a company that I'm proud to be an owner in. So keep that in mind as we're out there playing this game of solar and being an owner in one of the fastest growing companies that the only thing our competition can get us on is that we've got a couple of negative reviews on Better Business Bureau that we're overcoming. So something I want to throw out there.
Really good nuggets, man. I see a lot of people, and I'll catch myself, and I'll give everyone here permission to catch myself when I do it. We'll commonly, call the PMs, corporate said that we're corporate, like we're all a family. And so I really challenge myself, and I love that Chris said it. And he obviously said it 1,000 times better than I ever could. But anytime I'm talking to someone at corporate, at our corporate, I'm treating them with love and respect, because we all work together. Like, we got to figure it out. Another thing too that Chris kind of segued to, and we'll have tons of training on this. Anyone that's been in real estate long enough and have done a lot of deals, we always talk about putting out fires, right? In fact, some of us have been in business long enough that we call ourselves firemen or fire people instead of real estate agents or solar professionals. Same thing. I will tell you though, and hopefully you guys trust us on this, 9 out of 10 fires are gone same day. The fire came and the fire got put out. It just is what it is. And the quicker you learn that, the better you're going to be at this business, right? Being proactive versus reactive all the time. And I think it goes back to that same mindset of knowing that we're all in this together. We're all owners of this. So I love that, Chris. Mitch, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I'm Chris and Maureen and everyone else who participated in my question. I felt what you were saying, but you put it in a framework that I can work with a lot better. And also, to expand onto the ownership part, I am really super excited about the opportunity here. And I'm an old guy, and I've been around a long time. I'm 66 years old, and I'm fit and I look good, I think. And but what I want to say, in the 80s, I had my own solar business. And back then it was just solar hot water in New England. And I was doing about $3 million a year in 1980 dollars. And in almost 5 years, I put up 2,100 solar hot water systems. And then they did away with the tax credits. But I know what it's like to be a real owner, where I had to worry about my rent. I had to have office space. I had to have warehouses. I had 6 vehicles on the road. I had employees that I had to keep hiring and then maintain them and keep them happy, and just all the management levels. And there's no way I could have made the kind of money that I potentially can make here. And I believe I will make it here. I believe this is going to be the highest paying career I'm going to have in my long career here. And this is my last career. I'm taking this one to retirement, and I'm going to build up a big, huge team. And then I'm going to have the residuals when I hit my 70s that I can just coast. And so I'm very, very excited. And when you say you're a business owner, we really are business owners, and I just want to let you know. And I don't know an easier way, because most of the burden and stress is on Powur's head. It's on them. It's just us to be motivated, positive, get out there, speak up, and ask for the order. That's the bottom line.
Very well said, brother. Very well said.
And the crazy part is they give us the lion's share of the commission that we go out there and generate. We've got no worries, and we keep the damn lion's share of the commission. And then they give us ownership, and then the financing company gives us rebates on the things that we're selling, because we have to sell financing in order to sell these systems. I mean, it's like.
Absolutely, Chris. I looked at starting up my own company here, local, and after all the overhead, I would be lucky to get a quarter after I paid all the bills to be competitive, to walk away with a quarter of what I'd be walking away with here.
Aaron, what was your monthly nut on your real estate team back in the day?
$17,400 a month.
Yeah.
No guarantee of any sales the following month.
Yeah. And your people would drive you nuts because they didn't, do what they wanted to do. They wanted to take the weekend off. And I remember Aaron used to say, it's the first of the month. And guess what? I'm on the hook for another 17 grand, and these people won't do a damn thing.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have to worry about that.
Is this before EXP?
That was at EXP. I mean, the whole time. I mean, I'm sure Jim's monthly nut's bigger than that, but yeah. Most business owners, guys, and I love that you said it, Mitch. I mean, you have financial responsibility.
My small little team was about 25 grand a month.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, not only the financial part that was huge, I had responsibility for the people I cared about.
Right.
Like if I shut down, how are they going to feed their families, pay their mortgage, their rent? There were times you would talk about brutal, but yeah, you have all the upside here with just none of the risk. Like we're not financially responsible for anybody. And by the way, that's a message. I hope you're writing it down. If you want to target business owners, that's language.
Yep.
What else we got? We got time for one or two more, guys, and we can wrap up. Good combo as always, though. I love it. You never know where it's going to go. Jen, you've been quiet today. Sorry, who was that?
Me.
Oh, go for it.
So I wanted to share a little bit about the seller that I mentioned earlier. So what I've been putting into play is what Chris showed us on Fridays about attracting people and also making sure that we know who we're talking to, because everybody has different personalities. And that way you know exactly what proposition to use with that person. So this person that I talked to, and she's a seller now, I used the revenue share part. So nothing else mattered. It was more about her building wealth and all that. So knowing that helped me a lot, and putting it into play, it kind of played out the way Chris showed us on Fridays. And it makes it a little bit easier. You use less energy because you go straight to what they're actually looking for.
So you mean that worked?
I was thinking the same thing.
Thank God.
He made that up last Friday. What do you mean?
Totally make it up.
Rosario, I think I said it last week. Your posture has changed over the last 60 days. It is really cool to watch live. And it's because you're around the campfire every day, all day. Like it's badass to watch. Badass.
Thank you so much. Thanks to you guys.
Love that. By the way, let's dovetail what she just said, because it's something Chris beats over the head every Friday. If you're leading with the value proposition that brought you here and you're not talking to you, most likely you're going to lose. It's a fact. It's a fact. Real life example. He's not on here to defend himself, so I can go ahead and say it. My boy Jabari, I said it last week. He led with selling glass to me for 3 months. I was not interested in selling glass. That sounded like a job. I did not want it. I didn't want it, so I didn't give him the time of day. Finally, he played his sprint card, had me see a video, and the first thing I saw was they stole our EXP model, and I said, get me on the phone with the owner. That's all it took. It took a different value proposition. So if you don't know those guys and gals, and you're not winning and you're having the conversations, that's your missing domino. That's it. It's it. And she just proved it. Love it. Love it. Time for one more. Jim, any Yoda wisdom?
I'll throw a little nugget in the pie. I feel like, when we were starting out in real estate, my wife would say like, oh my God, we have all these problems. We have all these problems. Well, the way you solve that is go get more deals, right? if you don't have deals, you don't have problems. If you have problems, that means you're getting deals. So keep doing it. The thing that separates us is how you address those problems and resolve them. Some people get scared, they make up excuses, they run from them. Other people own that shit. They be like the highest level of accountability. And then you have the confidence that your leaders have the competence and the know-how to work through those rough patches. I'm confident Jonathan Budd and our team has that. So when you're growing pains are a good sign, right? You have to know they're speed bumps and not brick walls. So keep going. Use them as a launching ramp eventually.
Love it, man. Fire as always. I tell people all the time, growth is chaos. If you're not around chaos in your business right now, you're not growing. It's a fact. And he just said it. Here's another nugget. We'll close on this unless someone else has something. My mentor taught me this probably a decade ago, and it took me a while to get there, full disclosure. Do you guys think deals in real estate fall apart?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Do you guys think solar deals fall apart?
100%.
Guys, they're mirrors of each other. That's why we attract so many agents. It's the exact same business, just wide open here. That's really it. My mentor years ago, my first deal I got under contract fell apart. Right? Full disclosure, I was one of those where when I was filling up my tank, it was $3 because the tank wasn't $3. I only had $3 to put in the tank, right? I was living like $1, $2. And so that $9,000 that was supposed to come in, I had spent that bad boy. Like I had spent it before that thing closed. I needed it. And she challenged me. She's a smart business lady. And she said, you want to get to the place in your business where a $10,000 escrow falls apart an hour before, and you keep moving. You keep moving, right? And I have goosebumps. I never lost that thought. And that was the mission I was on. I wanted so many deals in the pipeline that God forbid when one falls apart, it didn't affect me or my family, right? I see a lot of heads nodding. It's huge. That's where you want to be. That's where we all want to be.
Amen.
All right, cool. Anything else before we wrap up?
No, you can't have a scarcity mindset. You've got to come from a place of abundance. And there was something years ago about Lee Trevino and the way he played, and he said something to the effect of, "I play like the money's already in my pocket, that I've already won the tournament."
Love that. Love that. Marissa, take us home. I see your hand up. The floor is yours.
Friend, just to kind of piggyback on something that Chris said this morning, it's about consistency and persistency. For about a month and a half, I stopped playing this game. Just straight up honesty. I stopped playing the game, wasn't winning because I wasn't playing. This past weekend, I've played harder than I've played in about a month and a half. And guys, when I tell you my team is showing up, my team is working harder, my team is putting the action. I've got ambassadors that signed up. Like, you have to put in the work. You got to take the action. Without the action, you're not going to see it.
When you show up, others will want to follow you. Right? Mike Barrison, remember we talked about that this morning? What was the concept on that?
Oh, I was talking about team members, and they're going to follow whatever it is that you're doing yourself.
Yeah. So if we want our team members to show up and do, then we've got to show up and do it as leaders first, right? So it starts with us. So guys, I'll throw this in there. Just I shared a couple of different coaching calls this morning. There's 34 days left in the year. Okay. 34 actual days. If you take Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays off, you probably got like 10, right? Here's the point. Use these next 34 days, every single day. Find one thing you're going to do. One thing. And that might be reach out to 5 people, 10 people, whether it's recruiting, sales, both, whatever the case is. Commit to one thing you're going to do every single day for the next 34 days to finish your year strong, to build that momentum so that when you wake up January 1st or sober up on January 2nd, your business is primed to continue to go, as opposed to start over because you took most of December off. Okay. Most of the people in the world today, in our society, will be taking more time off than they will be applying to their businesses, etc. This is where you're going to take market share. This is where you're going to take mind share. This is where you're going to take social share on social media platforms. Commit to your one activity every single day for the next 34 days. We're going to have a strong rest of the year, and we're going to start strong in 2023 because there's big things coming for this team. And I'm proud to be in business with every single one of you.
Chris, love it, man. I got to add one thing to that. Something Chris and I are passionate about. We hear all way too often, you know, they won't say it out loud. They're going to shut down, like he just said. I can't wait to hit January 1, January 2nd running. I'm going to come out of the gate swinging. I have big goals. Write this down, guys. How you finish your year is how you begin your new year. If you are not in momentum as we close out December, it is not a light switch where January comes on and all your ambassadors are blessing you with deals. It doesn't happen that way. I have tried it. I have fought it. I have tested it for years. It does not. How you end this year is how your new year begins, my friends. If you want massive momentum, you want a game-changing 2023, it's how we wrap this thing up for the next couple of weeks. Appreciate all of you as always. I will share the recording once I get it back. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the launch call tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be good, God bless, and be safe. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Let's go.